right, we're here. It's been a bye week, and
Yes.
so if you want to see last week's game or the week before that's game, because this is Friday, we got the Lava special. Okay, so we have a Lava special. You can check that out. We had lots of pretty good replays. Some really good
A lot of good lava feedback.
A lot of good Lava feedback. Just looking over the game, that huddle is amazing. First of all.
Yes.
That's where I get the footage from. Is
Right.
just from Huddle. I don't publish the stats or anything like that, but you can see all the different plays and you can see all the data, and it's just amazing how well we did on defense. Just looking over it, and I know you guys spend a long time reviewing footage.
We do.
Tell me a little bit, because we don't have a game to talk about for tonight,
Right.
but I'm really excited about going to Putnam North. Tell me a little bit about, you get film from Putnam North, right? What do you guys do with that film?
Yeah, so if you don't know, the general rule in high school football is you're going to trade the previous 2 games, and that's pretty standard. So you'll get the team that you're going to play's previous 2 games that they played. They'll normally send a wide copy, a tight copy, and occasionally an end zone copy of the footage if you agree to it. And so they'll do that. You'll send yours. They'll send theirs, and that's pretty standard. Obviously as a coach, you assume everyone has all your games.
Right.
Everyone assumes, I'm sure that we have all their games and all those. And so what we do, on the weekends, we get those, we break down all those games, we enter in, what the fronts are, the stunts are, the blitzes, the coverages, offensively, what formation, what run scheme, who got the ball, then you put how many yards, what hash, all this, and just all the input of it is pretty time consuming. And then you can filter that information. And then you can say, hey, what plays did they run out of, trips? If they're on a certain, hash, did they like being on one hash more than the other? Did they like, what are their tendencies and, on the goal line or short yardage or whatever? And so you get a pretty good idea of your opponent, before you play. And so then you take that information, then you have, hey, these are going to be our checks to these. These are the, 3 or 4 coverages that we're going to do to this formation. Or offensively, it's like, hey, expect this blitz if we're in this formation or whatever it may be. You start just kind of getting a team's personality, and how they like to conduct themselves in those kind of situations. And then obviously that transcends into your game plan that you give to the kids on Monday. So that's kind of like our general deal. On top of your previous game, what you need to work on.
Right.
And sometimes I think as coaches, a lot of times you can get too caught up in it's like opponent. And yes, you do need to worry about your opponent, but ultimately if you what I think we try to do a good job of is if we execute, our game plan on offense and defense, a lot of times, the results take care of themselves. But yes, you have to make sure that you're preparing your kids for your opponent as well. So all that goes on the weekends. That's why we work weekends and get all those things done. And so we, put our kids in the best possible position on Friday nights.
Okay, so even in a bye week, you're doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
extra.
Yeah. There's no off. So we're always trying to get ahead and and do that and solving our own problems. And the bye week's great for that. I enjoy the bye week. Our kids enjoyed it. They handled it very, very well. They're very mature about the bye week. They went in with the attitude of like, man, we're going to take care of ourselves and try to get better at things that we need to get better at each and every day. And so we're able to have time to kind of drill down and focus on different concepts, both on offense and defense and special teams, on things like we need to improve upon that we saw from, previous games and things like that without necessarily having to prepare directly for an opponent, that week. So the bye week's been really, really useful for us and very beneficial.
Well, speaking of beneficial, I got the schedule in front of us.
You like beneficial?
I'm liking the schedule because, first of all, really the real season starts
now.
Yes. Okay, we got a normal week next week.
Right.
We got normal game prep. We got Friday night football. I'm super excited about that. We're going to Putnam City North, like I said. So what we got is we got a normal week, Putnam City North. Then the next week we got Capitol Hill and a Thursday game.
Right.
So I'm looking here. Capitol Hill is a up and coming building program right now. And so we expect to see some dudes out there, some guys, but we got Capitol Hill right before Deer Creek.
Right.
And so we got an extra day for Deer Creek. Is that helpful to you?
Yeah, I mean, the coaching adage is obviously, we're worried about PC North. That's
right.
That's what we're worried about. Anytime you have a chance to play a district game, like that has to be your sole focus. Because our kids know that, our first goal is to try to win a district championship, for the second time in school history, the first time last year. in 6A
Okay.
football. So the first ever district championship was a year ago, 2022. We're trying to make it back to back. That's always our first goal. And so to do that, you need to win every district game. And so PC North has our full attention this week, and then next week we'll deal with next week. But yeah, it's always challenging. Every team in our district is going to present different different challenges and also provide kids with different opportunities, each and every week to try to showcase what they can do. But, our sole focus is on PC North tonight. Coach Lane and his staff do a great job. We have a lot of good athletes. We'll have our hands full with them tonight.
All right.
So I'm not going to let you bait me on the next one. So
Now, I was testing.
yeah, PC North again. Coach Lane and his staff do a great job of talk about a program on the rise. PC North just continues to do a good job at a big win, versus Southmore earlier in the year. A very well coached Southmore team. Another team is kind of rising in 6A1. So they beat a 6A1 opponent. Very well coached, very athletic. Got a really athletic quarterback that's on time with a lot of balls. You can tell the guys. Really, not only athletic, but a smart quarterback, makes good decisions with the football, protects the football very well, kind of loaded with skilled guys. Offensive line is big and physical. And then defensively, have 11 guys that run to the ball really, really well. And so they're able to put, 11 guys that can run, and tackle well. And so, we'll have our hands full tonight against a really well-coached PC North team, again, that has the athletes, has the scheme to give us a challenge.
All right, that sounds good. And how are the kids feeling?
Kids feel good. It's crazy to think. At this time of the season, you're moving in almost at the conclusion of tonight's game. Obviously, we're in week 5 after tonight. Of the season, which obviously marks the halfway point of the regular season. And at this point, we played one game. One full game, and so it's kind of crazy. Obviously with the events that have transpired this season, but with that, talking just strictly football, it's been makes it just a little bit presents its own challenges, just with the inexperience of your team. And you're trying to get again, as we said on previous shows, you're trying to get game experience. And the only way to do that is to play games. And so we feel like we would like to have some more games under our belt than what we do, but that's not the case. And so. Hopefully we won't make too many game 2 mistakes that, in week, 4 of the season. So we're looking forward to being able to get out there and play, and kids are excited, on a game week. They enjoyed the bye, but playing football on Fridays is much more fun.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I don't have just a lot of questions because we answered a lot of them last week. It's really just, it's all about playing these games.
Yes.
And we got no more bye weeks. We got 7 in a row.
No more bye weeks.
7 in a row, and then with good coaching and good playing,
right,
we'll have that 8th game that we're looking for.
We're looking for. We hope so.
So we got a lot of volleyball that we just did.
Yes.
And that's what I was so focused on. There's still a bye week.
Coach Weber and staff doing a fantastic job. It's really, really cool just to watch the buy-in from the girls and the excitement and the joy and the crowds and all the things. Volleyball really rolling right now. Really cool to see.
And we did senior night last Tuesday, and we did the UConn game, which I was glad we did the UConn game. It went 5 sets.
Yeah.
We did 2, they got 2, and then we won in the 5th set.
Yep.
It was
it's good to have those games sometimes, you have to go the distance and go win tough games against tough opponents and things like that, and be able to have that experience under your belt for, getting into the postseason.
Well, and it came down to staying with the play. We had a lot of long volleys. So it was good to see that. So if you after you watch the football game, if you need more support,
check it out.
3 volleyball games.
Absolutely.
And next week, we're going to have a lot more footage and a lot more players of the game.
Yes.
Last thing I wanted to get to, practice players of the week. We don't talk about practice players of the week, but when you have a bye week, which was last week,
right?
who are the practice players of the game?
Well,
of the game?
Before the bye week, the 2 practice players were my man, Jaden Spriggs,
Okay.
For the offense, did a fantastic job. And also Aiden Gonzalez did a really, really good job for us. And those guys, we call them tag team players, and those guys don't, as you mentioned, don't get enough credit. Those guys provide the looks for the offense or the defense or special team, and so they're basically simulating the opponent's plays, right? If you don't know. And so they run those against our offense and our defense, and so to get a good look, with great effort, is just paramount to you having success on Fridays, because you're trying to simulate the opponent the best you can, and those guys do a fantastic job of doing that. And then this last week was Garrett Wyatt,
Okay.
And then Romeo. Turner as well, and those guys just did such a good job of being able to showcase what the opponent could do, and gave us a really, really good look. And also, a side note, you tell our guys all the time, that's a great opportunity for you to show what you can do against a starting offense or a starting defense. Because if you're making plays on a starting offense or starting defense, it doesn't take too much a train of thought from coaches to go, hey, if he can do that, against us, maybe, we ain't trying to find a place for this guy on special teams, and he does well on special teams, and, now the guy's getting rotated in on Friday nights, and then, and so forth, and so on, and also, Monday nights, JV games are a big part of that, and so a lot of those guys that you see that do well on the attack teams are also doing really well on Monday nights, and then they become future stars in the program.
Well, as a former coach, I know any rep a player can get is a rep that the
Absolutely.
coaches see, and you get better.
Yeah.
And if you expect to start when you're, in ninth grade, that's maybe not the most reasonable for most players.
It's fairly rare, yeah.
But you're working towards sometime being that Friday night starter, junior, senior, even sophomore year.
Well, ultimately, we talk about in our program as being the best version of you. Be
Yeah.
the best version of yourself. And, if you show up with a good, workman's attitude every single day and work extremely hard and just try your best, and you start, you put that on film, you put that out there every single day, good things happen, without, we also talk about surrendering the outcome in our program, basically meaning, like put in the work, do what you're supposed to do, don't worry about what the outcome is, the outcome will take care of itself, as long as you continue to put in the work each and every day, and those guys do that, and it's been really fun to watch them.
Well, I'm glad to talk about that. I'm looking forward to next week. When we talk about the players that came for the next week.
Recap PC North and move on to the next week.
Move on to the next week. I'm very excited about our schedule, and we will talk more about that later. I was trying to bait you, but as a broadcaster, last thing I'm going to say, as a broadcaster, I love this schedule.
Yeah.
Home away, home away, home away, home away.
Yes.
It winds up pretty well.
Yes.
But we got to play this game. So until next time,
Ready.
stay classy.